Baki is many things. Hype, schizophrenic, and most of all, what is this show even about? In the latest edition of Baki, we have transitioned from the stereotypical fisting martial arts with the power of imagination, or the demon brain according to the Baki lore, to historic samurai sword fighting comparable to Sekiro, which apparently took place right around the same era as our main samurai sword menace, Musashi Miyamoto. Now, this dude is like kinda cool. I mean, he's killed over 60 dudes without losing a single duel from the Warring States era, got his first kill at the same age that we discovered jerking off, and literally rage baited one of the best swordsmen of his time, literally called the Demon of the Western Provinces, by being 3 hours late, and killed him with a fucking wooden sword that he carved out of a paddle from a bow! And this was a common method that he would do. He would show up late, make his opponents pissed, and kill them while their hubris was hurt. But surely, a lot of this is just fiction, right? There's no way this sword swing thing could actually be real, and it's just another case of Baki Balinese, right? Now look, there isn't really a simplistic way to describe what in the actual fuck Baki is at this point. Because on one end, we have the fights. Obviously, hype is all hell, unorthodox as fuck, and it doesn't really make sense a whole lot of the time, but it does a pretty damn good job at convincing us, and that's just what's so great about it. Like, starting off this season, we got Doppo, who out of his boredom of definitely being the strongest and hasn't lost a single fight, like, ever, he has been training in the waterfalls, not to be mistaken with the Brokeback Mountains or Ram Ram. But he is the first to challenge Musashi Miyamoto outside of Baki's mandatory ass beating at the beginning of the season. But let's be real, a Baki season would not be complete without him being sidelined for like 90% of it. But unfortunately, the power of getting super ultra processed wet and being in the hills fucking dude doesn't allow you to take on a historic menace to society. And despite Musashi not even having a demon brain, I think he uses the power of imagination to imaginatively fuck Doppo and the power of reality. But let's be honest here, nobody really expected Doppo to win this fight. He's just, I guess, a guy there for the sake of power scaling. But next up on the chopping block we have is Retsu. Previously, he attempted to abandon his 4,000 years of Chinese martial arts for some shit he saw from elementary school in order to defeat Pickle, which obviously didn't work. So he decided to go on his boxing training arc like he was on some Jake Paul bullshit. No, seriously, this arc was so bad. I honestly would have preferred for Retsu to retire over this. So my expectations for him fighting Musashi weren't exactly the highest. But you know what? What I am proud to admit is that I was actually wrong to judge Retsu too early. Because first of all, in their very first meeting, Retsu actually kicks the absolute shit out of Musashi. Now sure, they did trade even blows, but this would be Retsu utilizing 0 weapons. So when we get to the actual fight itself, it is genuinely one of the best in the entire series. And Retsu manages to become one of the select few characters outside of "I will protect you, Oni-chan" to use weapons effectively. And no, Santa Claus does not count. And for a while, he appears to be giving Musashi Miyamoto a run for his schizophrenic sword money. But unfortunately, as Retsu throws everything he has at Musashi, he slowly but surely starts running out of options. And even when he does, he still keeps pressing forward and even takes inspiration from others to stay in the game a little bit longer. He does not give up until the absolute bitter end. And that just goes to show the level of dedication that Retsu has for the love of the game. Even after his leg has gotten taken and he became the boxing heavyweight champion, he never settled and always strived for more. He kept climbing higher and higher until eventually the height was simply too much for him. And it is ultimately what led to his honorable death. Rest in peace to my glorious 4,001 year Chinese training king, Retsu. Something that wasn't as honorable, though, was what they did to my boy Jack. Now look, we all know at this point that the only streak Jack has is his streak of cock and ball torture, because he not only injects himself with clavicular levels of steroids, but he also previously got rejected from the caveman pickle when he tried to go in for the makeout session. And though Jack's persistency is admirable, it gets to a point where I think you just need to hang it up, my dude. But regardless, he also wants to fight Musashi. But unfortunately, it is at this point in the story where Motobe decides that he wants to go on his "I will protect you, Oni-chan" arc. Previously, he even tried to prevent Retsu from fighting Musashi, but ended up getting bitch made because Retsu is just goated like that. Jack, however, gets touched inappropriately and doesn't even manage to get past the qualifying factor for fighting the main antagonists. All those steroids, all those peptides, all that height lengthening surgery, all that looks maxing just to get cooked by Motobe. I honestly would not blame Jack at this point if he just retired from fighting and competed in the NBA, because that is honestly his God-given calling. I mean, getting past the drug test will be pretty difficult, but just consult LeBron James. I'm sure you'll figure out a way. But the main fight that we need to talk about is Musashi Miyamoto versus Yujiro. Demon Brain Schizophrenia versus Historic Samurai Schizophrenia. Who will win? Well, before we can answer that question, Motobe once again tells Yujiro, "I will protect you, Oni-chan." Because Motobe believes that his bum ass is the only one in the entire series capable of taking Musashi down. He says this while having his ass get beat by Retsu. And you remember that time that Retsu fucking died to Musashi while proficiently using weapons while also being nerfed from his previous fight? Like, Motobe, shut your bitch ass up! Honestly, I think the only reason his bum ass is talking right now is because he finally has the opportunity to use his weapons for something actually useful. Without Musashi Miyamoto literally being revived, this dude would have literally remained on the sidelines for the rest of the series because he just simply ain't shit. Oh yeah, and remember when I said that Motobe would protect Yujiro? Well, what I left out is that he also said that Yujiro was incapable of taking out Musashi. I'll fucking kill you! And like a bitch, this guy runs away and soaks his pants. I mean, fair enough, there ain't no one taking out Yujiro. But just the audacity to say something like this while just being side NPC character number 72. But anyway, out of rage, Yujiro decides to fight Musashi. And what we see is a generational standoff between the historic Sekiro player and the largest brick wall humanity has to offer. And I ain't talking the Great Wall of China. And it isn't actually a one-sided fight like most Yujiro fights usually are. Musashi actually manages to land a few hits on Yujiro and gets to the point where he is about to unleash his secret technique, Schizo Samurai Sword 2.0. No, I'm not making that up. He deadass trained to his grave to wield invisible swords so he didn't need to wield his usual swords anymore. Like, is this dude just creating his own version of Demon Brain at this point? And when the fight between Musashi and Yujiro is about to reach the next level, Mr.
I will protect you, Oni-chan.
Charges in to protect Yujiro, who did not need protection, and cockblocks the fight! Like, why must you blowball me? Honestly, this guy has pissed me off so much that I think Musashi and the bald Japanese should have just let him get marked by Yujiro. I don't think anyone outside of Gaia, who no one also cares about, would actually miss him. But in a nutshell, that is the latest season of Baki. And honestly, after having seen the disappointing finale of the other Baki series, I was pleasantly surprised to see this arc. This has got to be one of the best arcs in the entirety of Baki, just from the standpoint of mindless entertainment, legitimate historical education, and ass balls of fuckery fights. And this is only part 1. I genuinely hope that they continue this motivation, because this arc single-handedly got me back into Baki. But that is all. Thank you for watching, and have a wonderful day.